All right, so we're still in the range. Like we've been in all week. We're looking at the higher time frame here. Starting off with the daily charts. Let's look at both assets. I'm still trying to see. I still have the same exact scenarios as yesterday mapped out for the higher time frame. Like I said, 630s is honestly our true bull bear zone. Every single time we interact with that, we miraculously find buyers. We found it yesterday, a crazy reversal, and I mean, little to no surprise, yesterday, since the open of the futures markets, it rallied higher. And luckily, I was actually able to catch that rally, which I will show you the trade here in a moment. But right now, again, we're kind of chopping through the 9 moving average and the 20 moving average on NQ, kind of forming a 50 EMA box. And then on ES, we have a bit more of a stronger uptrend structure. We're respecting the 20 moving average a lot more, but we're still cutting through the 9 moving average. But it seems like, again, we're just going to keep on. For NQ, it kind of seems more sideways, but ES definitely seems sideways to higher. But it's just kind of like we're in really grindy conditions right now. But I like the way I've been trading these grindy conditions. Me a year ago, honestly, would have been blown up my accounts. But like I said, we're looking in terms of like the scenarios and playing out. We're looking basically at the same things. Let's start off just with like NQ again. As long as we can like kind of like hold this, and here we'll actually adjust this right here. As long as we can like hold the 803s, the 25 803s, that's kind of like the top of the range, really. These are kind of like the extremes we've been rejecting up here for the past couple of weeks now. This area we've always been rejecting. So maybe we come up and reject it again and come right back down into the range. Find buyers at 630s. Maybe it attempts to kind of test the 25 481, but buyers are definitely going to come in, especially if we want to just continuously repeat the pattern that we have been having. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I do like that we're in a 4-hour uptrend of the 9 moving average. We kind of like had our breakout, higher high, higher low one, and now we're hopefully we can make it like another higher high. That would be awesome. But again, we have to get through this resistance level that we've been rejecting for the past couple of weeks. And when I say past couple of weeks, I mean I really mean past couple of weeks. We have a couple of rejections, like I said, here, 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 and like all that. So that has been a huge zone that we have not been able to get through. If we look at ES is a bit of a different story. We don't really have a ceiling to where we've been rejecting. We've been making all-time highs. We made all-time highs here, here, and here, right? And we could potentially make another all-time high today. Like I said, it's been kind of like sideways to higher with ES. So I'm mainly looking for us to kind of continue this 9 moving average uptrend that we're kind of in right now on the 4-hour. And hopefully we can make another all-time high. But obviously, once we do make that all-time high, it's either we're going to move sideways or we can just come right back down to kind of like test the 20 moving average, or sorry, the 50 moving average, or even 100 moving average. Either way, we could always come back down to the 69.72 level. I would like to see the 69.72 hold. If not, then we can then definitely see lower to 69.17. But it is very unlikely that we want to go down there to the 69.17 because it is so low to the previous week's low. And obviously, you can just see, right? NQ almost took out its previous week's low on the top here, but ES really wasn't as close as NQ was. So obviously ES is definitely the stronger asset for the bulls. But obviously, again, if you're day trading NQ, I personally like it better just because it's more volatile and I feel like you get more of a bang for your buck. But let's go down to the hour, okay, the 1-hour chart. And I don't have my scenarios mapped out yet, but we can kind of just do that right here, right now. And basically, what we're seeing on the hour again is the 4-hour is in a 9 moving average uptrend for both assets, but the 1-hour only NQ is in a really nice 1-hour 9 moving average uptrend, but ES is not. ES pulled back to its 1-hour 50 moving average. So it's very interesting to see here. This is still bullish, right? I'm not really bearish on the day until we actually do kind of like maybe break previous day's low, or not previous day's low, but previous day's New York low. And that's going to be around, what is it? 69.74. If we get below 69.74, then you can definitely maybe look for some shorts. But again, even then I really wouldn't. So let's just map out ES. ES, we can have a couple scenarios play out. Let me go and just expand the screen here. ES, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to potentially kind of coming into the New York Open, take out London's low, and then find buyers back up here. Maybe that means finding acceptance, or maybe that just means shooting up and then kind of like targeting to the next hourly zone, which is the 7,018. We may have some struggles up at to break through the 7,000s, obviously, because that is a really big psychological number. But if we then break out into the 7018 level, then what I would like to see is some acceptance to be formed here, and then maybe to find some continuation higher. And if we do that, I mean, obviously that'd be really good for the longs. So this will be scenario 1. And then this will be scenario 1.2. And then let's say, okay, we take out London's low, but we just continue lower. We actually don't have a reversal pattern there. Well, then what we can definitely see is either finding buyers at this 5-minute zone. Oops. Or even coming lower than that, trying to take previous yesterday's cash session low, find buyers there, or even we can come down to this hourly zone. The key here would be to wait for the reversal pattern to set up on the lower time frame. In order for us to reverse on a higher time frame, we need to see that reversal pattern on the lower time frame. So unless you know the setup that you're looking for, you may just want to take the continuation play. But these are the key levels. These are the areas to where we can possibly reverse from. And then obviously, if we lose that and we find acceptance down here, well, then we can target previous day's low and then go down to the 69.43 levels. But like I said, I do believe that is unlikely. But obviously, in the market, anything can happen. So nothing is a guarantee. And then those are kind of like bearish setups. So I would say this is our scenario 2 again for bears, scenario 2s, and then 2.1. So that way I'm reacting in if then statements. If this happens, then I will do this. If that happens, I will do that. Right. And that allows me to not overthink things in the moment, and allows me just to react, to be honest. And NQ, very similar thing. I would like to see us hold this 25,803 level, maybe even come back down, sweep the London low, come back up, find acceptance, and then push higher, at least to the previous day's high. And then that will be our scenario 1. And then scenario 1.2 would be, okay, if we get up there and we form acceptance, then we can definitely move to the next hourly zone. And so we're going to go ahead and mark that off as scenario 1 and then scenario 1.2. These are the possibilities. Obviously, the market can only move in a couple of directions: sideways, up or down. So obviously we're taking that account. So let's say we sweep London's low, but we don't find the reversal here. Well, then in that case, then price could definitely come back down all the way down to the 25,713 level. Maybe find some buyers down here. But then if we find acceptance down there, which we may, because where buyers have been stepping in all week, we could want to go down to the 630s and then find some buyers down here. And if we lose that, well, then, I mean, we can then, again, find acceptance and then come back down to take out previous week's low, which again, in my opinion, believe it is unlikely, but not impossible. So we can go ahead and mark this off. Scenario 2. And then if we lose that 630s, then I'd definitely flip it to the Bears, really target previous day's low. Or maybe even if we lose the 25,713, because even from like like, because it doesn't always perfectly bounce from the 630s, right? So if there's a target down there, and let's say we take an entry, a wedge break, I mean, we could really catch a 151 point move, right? Down to the 630s. It's an 80 point move, not as much as we would like, but if we form acceptance at the 630s, then the true target will be previous day's low, and that's down at 100, that's 151 points right there, which is not a bad move at all, you know. And then even if we could even move lower if we really start to pick up some momentum on the short side. But that's basically what I'm looking for. And then also we have QQQ and SPY. I'm starting to look at these, starting to track these again on on SPY. If as long as we don't lose the 690 level, which is the weekly open, basically just slightly below it, then you know I'm still bullish. We are in pre-market. We did break out overnight, so this is the pre-market price. So we are looking pretty nicely. I would just want us to kind of continue higher, break out of all of these moving averages, then set in a higher low, and then we can really send it from there. NQ is looking like the same story. Sorry, QQQ is looking like the same story. Either way, if you're looking at this and you see the kind of like chart close like this, I mean, again, you're just looking at this like, hey, like buy the pullbacks. Honestly, it's just been a buy the pullback week, especially during an overnight session. And then I want to go over the trade that I actually took really quickly. And in order just to show you the trade, I mean, this is my the trading desk, the futures desk assessment that I'm in, and I tried to short last night. Quickly got stopped out. I actually flipped and actually decided to go with the trend and take a continuation long there. And if I just like break down the trade, here's kind of the trade on NQ. Here was the long that I decided to take. We got in here off the wedge break. I did get a bad fill of Project X, but again, we took that wedge break. You know, stop on the 2-minute was kind of like the recent low. And then basically, I just kind of partialed out. I took my first partials. I got 1.5 R, then a few more at 2 R, and then let the rest run. I took some more out here, and then in the middle of the night when I had to take my dog out to pee, I took some more out like up here. I wanted to target it all the way up there, but I was happy of like just kind of like fully exiting out right here. I was already up a lot, and yeah, it was a pretty good trade. Now the short I did take was the wedge breakdown right here, and then also there was a 9 moving average reversal. And if we look at here, actually last night, it was actually pretty interesting. It looked as if we wanted to reject the hourly 9 moving average right here. We had that area of resistance. So, but we broke through it. Buyers were just so strong, we broke through it. So the short didn't work out, and I stuck to the longs and made back the loss, and then made an additional like 300 and something bucks on top of that. So pretty good trade overnight, honestly. Especially all week. It's just, again, once you actually kind of come down to this area of like buying, I mean, just look at it. Just look at the momentum. Nice, easy continuation play. And let's just see what the New York Open has in store for us today.